tell you now just who they are. Listen to their stories and how they tell when they join and how they're doing so well. Telling us what it's all about today and how they are loving that own passive way. On passive, here today on passive, no better way. Listen to the Julie and the Milo show, so then you can be the very first to know. On passive, it's here today. Julie and Milo show is coming your way on passive.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Today is February 7th, 2022. Welcome to the Julie and Milo show. My name is Julie Nguyen. I'm coming to you from Orange County, California. My dear friend, Milo. Milo, if you would please say hello.
Hey, how you guys doing? It's Milo from Nashville, Tennessee.
Hello, Milo. Milo, you and I have been in Onpassive. For you, it's over 3 years. For myself, it's 3 years coming up in March. And such a blessing for all of us being here in Onpassive. I mean, the value of Onpassive has given us in the years that we've been in Onpassive, it's incredible. And it's the biggest company that I've ever been involved with. And I'm so blessed for you to actually bring me on to this awesome company as well. You know, we do have a huge community of people all around the world. We're getting together, we talk about Onpassive, we talk about live. We have made so many friends in Onpassive. And today we do have one of my friends here in the show, and I can't wait to have everyone listen more about this particular guest that we're bringing on. So without further ado, Milo, could you please introduce our guest?
Absolutely, Julie, and we are excited about having this guy on our show. I've talked to him several times, and every time I talk to him, man, I just get excited about what he's done and what he's gonna do. So with no further ado, I want to bring to the stage right now, Mr. Leon Holiday. Come on out, Leon. Hey, Leon, so good to have you on the show today.
Hello, Leon. So good to have you here with us. Thank you so much for spending time with us.
Hello, Julie and Milo. Thank you for having me, Milo and Julie. I really appreciate it. Been looking forward to it. Thank you, Julie. I'm very glad to be here.
All right, Leon, we like to get to know the founders better. And so we like to bring founders onto our show. So we want to start with all the way back at the beginning. Where did it start with Leon Holiday? Where was he born? How about his mom and dad, his siblings, his family now? Give us a little, about 3-4 minutes on that.
Yes, Milo, I'm from Talladega County, Alabama. First, my name is Leon Holiday, and I'm from Talladega County, Alabama, a little city called Munford, Alabama. If I'm not mistaken, they said that was the last city that was the Confederate soldiers fired a shot, you know, in the little city called Munford. Talladega is the home of the Winston 500 Motor Speedway. Born, raised there until I decided to go to school. And I have 10 siblings and 4 sisters, 6 brothers. Come from a very large family. And so yes, and my mom and dad, of course, they both are deceased at this time, and so now it's just us siblings now. So,
and how about your family? You got any children, grandchildren?
And yes, I have 3 sons, 1 6-year-old, and 2 older adults, sons, and so. Yeah, my 6-year-old keep me busy, keeps me young, and keep me on my feet. Yeah.
You know, it's so funny that you said that, you know, you lived there until you decided to go to school. It's very interesting because I know that you are the first one in your family was graduated. Is that correct?
That's correct. I was the first one in my family to go to school, and I graduated. You know what? I graduated with a double degree in 3 years because you know, I didn't have anything else to do for the summers. Why go to school and come home for the summer? I stayed there because there was nothing to do in a little, you know, country setting, a little country town. And I discovered a lot of different things. I went to school with some diplomat kids, and also went to school with the Nobel Peace Prize daughter, Naomi and Patricia Tutu, Desmond Tutu of South Africa, in a little city called Berea College in Berea, Kentucky. So I graduated there in '79 and never looked back.
Wow, wow. So you said you are the first that graduated from your family, first that actually went to school. I've read through your bio and I've seen that you have so many accomplishments in life, and you are the first of many things. So could you please share that with us?
Yes, I would like to do that. Like I said, I start with my family. I was the first one in my family to go to college, and I was first one in my family to not only go to college, but graduate from college. And then I started working in the oil industry. I came to California in 1980, and I started working for Chevron Oil as an assistant engineer in the maintenance mechanic division. And then I realized that I was the first African-American that was working in the maintenance and mechanic division of Chevron Oil. And so at that time, I was the first in a lot of different areas. And so after that, the oil industry ended for me because the oil industry on the West Coast, it was due to environmental laws. They was having it very tough out here. So what they did, they moved all their divisions back to Midland, Texas, and Gulf of Mexico and Northern California. So I went into water and wastewater technology. And when I got there, I realized that it was a new field, and I was the first African-American to work for the city of Thousand Oaks. In that division, I was the first African-American to work for Ventura Regional Sanitation District. And the difference between those two are, one is a municipality, one is a special government district. And then I realized when I worked for Ventura Regional Sanitation District, they have incentives. You know, the incentive was if you get another certification, a state license, we'll give you a pay increase. So I looked at it as a pay increase, and I didn't realize I was gaining more knowledge and gaining more, you know, in the technology field of water and wastewater technology. So I just start taking exams just to get an extra pay increase. And after a while, one of the supervisors came to me that used to work for the state, and he was a general manager, and he came in, he said, "Do you know that you're one of the first multi-certified person in the state of California with as many licenses that you have?" I said, "No, I was just taking it for a pay increase," because that was an incentivized. They incentivized, say, if you get a license, every time you get a different license that we can use in our organization, we'll give you a pay increase. So I just kept taking the exams every 6 months, every year. I was taking exams and becoming more knowledgeable in all the different areas. At one time, I held 12 different state license. And I think now I have about 7, and I only keep maybe 4. Since I'm retired, I keep about 4 of them active. So yeah, that was pretty interesting. And then, of course, as I moved on in my career, I got offered a position to open up a $53 million investor process for the Las Virgenes Municipal Water District. It was the first one of its kind on the West Coast. And Anheuser-Busch had the first one on the East Coast. And the investor where you take municipal waste and turn it into fertilizer. So I was able to do that, open that facility successfully, ran that for 4 or 5 years. And next thing you know, I kept being the first. And when I went to work for that company, I was the first African-American that worked for that company also. And the first manager, the first, you know, and I kept wondering, how am I keep being the first in all these different areas? And I realized just the field I was in, you didn't have a lot of African-American working in that field. And then being in management, you know, then I realized that more African-American in those fields, but I was in the management side of it and had the degrees and stuff like that. So it was easy to be the first. And then I went on from there and became the the first person working in the city of Parlier as the first African-American that even lived in the city. So then I realized I was the first there as well. And I was a director of public works. And then where I retired from, I was the first African-American manager in a large utility company in the Coachella Valley. So I retired from there, and I spent the rest of my career in water and wastewater technology, being the first and owning all the different licenses and stuff of that nature.
Wow, that's amazing, Leon. You know, with all you've done, I was reading through the thing, and it's like, it's crazy good, you know, and I know you got hobbies in the stock market and
Yes.
the design and building houses. We'll get to that a little bit later. And so I'm going to turn it back over to Julie so we can move on to the next part.
Okay.
Julie?
Sounds good.
Absolutely. Wow, that's incredible accomplishments that you have so far. I have noticed that, you know, in the past 3-4 months, you have been actively, you know, looking at Onpassive. You know, you've learned so much from Onpassive. So let's go into Onpassive a little bit.
Okay.
When did you join Onpassive? How did you hear about Onpassive, and how has it been for you?
You know, it has been outstanding and great. I mean, it's amazing all the people you meet. And it was you, Julie, who first introduced me to Onpassive. And when you introduced me to Onpassive, of course, during the time when you introduced me, I got sick with the COVID and I couldn't really do much at the time. And I was kind of foggy getting over the COVID and at the time. And so I wasn't as active, and you kept sending me videos and showing me, you know, read these videos, make sure you look at the videos and make sure you come onto one of the videos. And so I was in the background just watching. And then I realized that just a light bulb went off. I realized this is the key to my family legacy. This is the key to success. This is the key to many, many things that people don't even not aware of. And being that, it's kind of funny, in my last career, when I worked before I retired, one of the things that always stuck out for me on my in my job job description is one of the things it says, keep abreast of new technology and idea. So from that, when I was working, I was always attending seminars, webinars all around the country to keep to learn all the latest technology about water and wastewater and how to clean water. And so this kind of when I learned about Onpassive, I realized it's a technology also. And then I'm retired. I said, I want to stay abreast of these new ideas. And as Julie starts sending me the videos and I start becoming more and more aware of where this was going and how big this was, I made sure all my family was in it. All my sisters, all my brothers, all my cousins, all my relatives, anybody would listen to me, I made sure they was in it. And then after a while, I was signing up people left and right, here and there, and making sure. And like I said, all I did was just share it with my families and share it with my friends and telling them this could build a legacy. And then realizing that my family is always one paycheck away from being in poverty, one paycheck away from being broke, and one paycheck away from not paying a water bill, electric bill. And I realized, I was just telling them, you know, this is an easy fix, you know, and I would just, that's all I had to do was just keep sharing it with them and telling them. And sometimes it was so enjoyable to tell them, well, $97, they would frown on $97. And I would sit there and tell them, look what's in your hand right now. You just went to Starbucks and you just went to McDonald's and you just went here. Look at your nails. Who used to do your nails before you did your nails? Well, I did. Well, then do them yourself for a couple of months and save the money and go and do yourself a favor. And I was always just giving them little hints like that. Like this, I said, don't look at it like that. You got to look at it from a long long run. You know, you can't just sit there and say, I can't afford it. I said, you can afford it. And I said, but also you can't afford not to do it either. And then I would explain it to them that way. So,
that is so interesting. And first of all, I wanted to appreciate you, Leon, for trusting me, you know, for decide to make that action, take that action and decide to take it, you know, massive action. And, you know, it's the part is that, you know, you and I have conversations almost every day about Onpassive. We talked about, you know, how someone spent so much money to buy a phone. And, you know, it's really interesting concept that, you know,
yes.
even though we spend hundreds or thousands of dollars buying the phone, but we know all the function. Talk to us about that conversation.
Yeah, I would tell also family member, how much did that phone cost? About $800-900, right? $500-600. Do you know all the functions of it? No. I said, you only know the functions you need to know. And I said, do you know, you don't know the half of the function of that phone. I learned stuff just a week ago. And I said, no one knows the full function of those phones. I said, you have a device in your hands, a mini computer, and it has so many different functions. We only learn, if we want to text, we learn to text. If we want to get on Facebook, we learn to get on Facebook. I said, but there's so much more for on a cell phone these days. And I said, you paid a lot of money for that phone. And I said, all you have to do is just look at it like this. You don't need to know everything, just get in. All you need to do is get in, and when you need to learn, you will learn and things will reveal to you. I said, this is a technology far more greater, far more better for you and for the family members. And that's how I used to get people interested. And they say, yeah, you're right about that. And then they would go ahead and say, okay, sign me up, or let me get signed up. And I just want to bring up another thing. You know, a lot of people's having problems with the emails and stuff like that. Julie told me way back in September, October, she said, whatever you do, make sure everybody can log into those emails. So every time people log into the emails, I always tell them, go visit your email weekly, log into your email, make sure you go in all the time. And when everybody was having all the problems, I couldn't figure out because we were so far ahead of the curve. And, you know, and it's all about leadership, and leadership is so important. And also I have people that I know never have any knowledge of a computer or their phones, and I will sit down with them. And a lot of the women and men that is in their 70, late 70 and early 80s that's sign up, and I knew they was going to have issues, so I would meet with them in a little group and sit there and hold their hands and walk them through the whole thing, because they're our customers, they're our clients. And you know, you got to treat everything like it's your business and like they're your customers, they're your client, even though we're all founders. But if I brought you in, you're my customer, and I'm going to treat you that way. And I'm going to make sure I give you the customer service, and I help them walk through, and we didn't have any problems moving on through the process.
So Leon, tell me a little bit about your son, Joshua. How is he? I know that you've once told me that he has been watching the Julie and Milo show. She's been listening to the webinar with you. Talk to us a little bit about that.
He loved the Julie Milo show, and he been watching it with me. So he practiced. He said, I want to be a host. So he practiced various things. I got different little skits of him practicing, and he'll sit there and he does a little skit. He say, I'm in it to win it. And with the grandsons, and I got one little skit with them, and he say, they introduce themselves, and then they'll say, thank you, Mr. Mufareh. We're in it to win it. And, you know, and they'll do a little commercial, and he really enjoyed it. It's just like anything else. Kids learn by osmosis. Most kids learn by us family members, and it's up to us to bring them along, teach them. It ain't, you know, you send your kids to school, it ain't the teacher's responsibility to teach kids manners, teach kids everything. They have a curriculum, and that's what they follow. But at home, we as a parent, we have to teach our kids. If we want to teach our kids to be successful, we have to introduce them to things that going to make them successful and teach them. And Joshua he loved building, he loved learning, he loves watching the shows, he loved mimicking the various things. And like I say, kids learn by osmosis. he'll sit there and next thing you know, he's doing a little skit with Onpassive, and we're in it to win it. And I teach him about, finances. I teach him about how to invest, and he does one that on a little Yarbe commercial, because I invest this, into the Yarbe commercial. So he in the energy drink, and so for him, and so he does a little skit for that. He does one for Kellogg's cornflake, just to practice, and he loves doing that. So that's a great thing about it. So, but he loves Onpassive. He goes to all my meetings because he's with me 27. He go with, when I'm meeting with my group, he go with me to all the meetings, and he entertains them, and they just love him.
Very interesting. We are going to put some of those videos in this stories here.
Okay,
so
sounds good.
I love it. I love it,
then,
Leon. Yeah, maybe we'll have him on the show one of these days.
Yeah, he would love it. I got one of the videos that's kind of funny. He's standing. He said, that's the basketball goal. He said, our goal is to be in it to win it. So I said, okay, that's a good idea. Stand by the basketball goal. So you see the goal in the background, and he just, that was his thought process. It wasn't mine,
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Leon, let's move on to the next thing, which I'm really excited about talking to you about. I've talked to you before on it, but we got a saying on here that Mufareh said that he might not be able to change the whole world, but he can change somebody's world. So we have a quote that says, Onpassive is changing the world, one person at a time, and it started with Mufareh. And we believe that to be true. When people first come in, it's like, what is this going to do for me? How is it going to help me? How much money am I going to make? And then all of a sudden it becomes a bigger picture, and our mind and our hearts gets connected, and we get kind of in that movement that Mufareh is bringing us to, that about helping humanity. What are we going to do with the apples when they start coming in? Because we know we're already taken care of. We know we're going to have more apples than we can use. So what are we going to do with those extra apples? So what I would like to, a two-part question for you is, number one, what are you going to do with your apples for you and your family immediately? And then second part is, what do you plan on doing with the extra apples?
Okay. What I plan on doing with the apples, the immediate apples, is to make sure my family members that I got into, is to make sure that they learn how to set up sustainable investments that keeps them going. So the whole purpose is to build a legacy and get them and keep them out of poverty, because we got generational poverty, generation after generation after generation, living from paycheck to paycheck. I can't travel. I can't go here. I can't do this. I can't afford this. My car's broken. I can't fix this. I need tires. It's to make sure that all these things are secure for them. And then the next thing with the extra is I want to build a sustainable village for women and children, mainly women and children who wants to be there. Or if you say homeless and start mentioning that, a lot of time people build a stigmatism, and I don't want that in my community. I don't want that here. I want that. I'm talking about finding a location and building a sustainable village. And the sustainable village is designed to have, get women and children out of the car, sleeping in their van, sleeping in the tent, in an environment where they can learn a trade, learn a craft. And if they don't have a trade and have a craft, that will be their trade. That will be their craft. They learn how, let's say some people know how to sew, fix clothes for people. Some people know how to iron clothes for people. Some people know how to cook for people in the sustainable village. Everybody would have a job, be part of that sustainable village, and also have all kinds of things for kids. Teach them how to make gardens, teach them how to can foods, and how to catch rainwater, how to clean the water, how to have a sustainable gardening with water. Also help them how to build. Start off, it may be a tent city at the beginning, but how to build sustainable living homes, and maybe They may start off at tiny homes or small homes, design them. I know all the ins and outs, how to, get permits through the cities, because I've been in city government. I also been in special governmental agency district, and also learned to build houses over the years. And so, that's one of my hobbies. So I would take take that, everything I know, and put it into that village and teach others. And what I mean by that is having not only having a sustainable village, but also have a sustainable village where others can come and learn from and take that information back to their city, back to their home, back to their country, and implement those ideas. Because when they say sustainable, I mean everything from growing your own food, everything from building your own shelter, and growing your, like I say, and growing your funds, teaching them about how to, how to grow their funds and finance, and how to be part of something. Because some people just on their luck, they just made some mistakes, or they down on their luck, or they didn't plan properly because they didn't have anybody to teach them how to plan properly. I grew up in a family of 10, and my mom and dad, they barely could put food on the table. And I went to the bed many nights with a hungry stomach because we didn't have the income and the money. And it wasn't because my mom and dad, they taught us right from wrong, and they taught us how to respect other people, and they taught us goals and how to reach our goals and make sure we finish school and everything. But they didn't know how to teach us about finance and how to grow your money and grow your fund and how to invest. And then part of that sustainable village is having that type of atmosphere as well, and teach people how to be part of something. And it could be profit, nonprofit, and then teach them how to be part of a profitable community and the nonprofit side. And and if our government could solve homelessness, it would have been solved. Our government cannot. They cannot and will not, because homelessness and people who in needs is a global problem, and it's a state by state, country by country. It's an issue. If our government can resolve, only people can resolve it is we ourselves. We ourselves as a people, we ourselves as a country, we ourselves as a group. And and that's how you start by it. But you got to start with the blueprint. And that blueprint has to be, like I said, you can put one sustainable village and teach people how it's done, and teach people the resources. Like, for instance, some people make tiny houses all over the world with these shipping containers. You can build it with other materials, and which doesn't cost a lot of money. I mean, our government, they can spend millions and millions of dollars, but everything become bottleneck because it become political and become politicized and politics. And then you get that involved, everything become stalemate. Nothing moves, nothing move forward. But if you just do it group by group, individual, and just set up a sustainable village, and don't call it a homeless shelter, just call it a sustainable village, and people will come there and they realize it's a place where they can be comfortable. And I'm not talking about just having just people just come there. They have to want to be part of that. And they also we want to have counselors, AA, people that, got on some drugs or did things that made bad mistakes. We want to have all of those services in place to help them succeed if they want to. There are some people that are homeless, don't want to be helped. They just want to be where they are. But we don't have the knowledge to know who those people are, but we would give everybody the opportunity and make sure in this a sustainable village. And as Mr. Mufareh mentioned one before, the bigger the team, the bigger the dream. I can't do it all by myself. I'm looking at all of Southern California division Onpassive to be part of this this dream and bring their thought process in it. I'm the person I believe in empowering other people thoughts, process, dream. You know, I'm not a me. I'm a person that, oh, if that's ideal work, let's go with it. You know, let's go with whatever ideal that people have to reach our end goal and our goal. And that's the type of person I am, because I know people around the world drinking really terrible water. I just want to bring you into my village for 2 weeks to teach you how to make simple water filtration system out of the materials that you have in your country, in your area, in your location, and build filtration system where you don't have to drink that dirty water, and how to, you know, how to, after you drink it, how to boil it, how to treat it and everything.
Wow.
And that's the kind of thing I would like to do.
I love your passion. I love your heart. And you and Kurt, man, my brother, you talk along the same lines. Boy, you get on that water, and it's a good thing, you know. So I appreciate everything you said, and you're going to be able to help so many, I'm sure, and you will have a lot join you, and you could even probably do some of it on Academy, you know, doing teaching.
Yes.
and stuff like this. A beautiful thing, Leon, and we're out of time, but I want to thank you for coming today, you know, and talking to us. And of course, we got you on the show on Wednesday night, and look forward to that. You and Kurt talking about staff and helping bring things to it. But I just want to thank you for your time today and for coming. And you were awesome, man. So, all right, back to you, Julie.
Absolutely, Milo. Thank you so much, Leon, for spending time with you, and especially thank you to your efforts, you know, in growing more of the organizations that we have, and your passion for Onpassive, and your passion for the future, for the people around the world who wants to be in your sustainable village. So we appreciate you very much. And there you have it, everyone. It's Leon Holiday in Southern California. If you're interested into what he is sharing here, we do have a show on Wednesday coming up at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Leon Holiday and Curtis David, which is Milo's brother, they are going to talk about how one of our product, Staff or Academy, will work with municipality, you know, because they have always been involved in that arena. I know that word is municipality. Okay, you got it. That's why. Yes, that's why these guys are laughing, because I'm having trouble saying that word. Anyway, thank you so much for watching the Julie and Milo show. We always appreciate you tuning in, and please hit the subscribe button and click the bell. We have many, many more videos coming out for you. And especially, don't forget to check out Curtis David Daily Inspiration. He does that every single day. And Milo put it out for all of us. It's an inspiration that you might want to turn on every morning as well. Leon, thank you so much for your time being here with us.
And thank you, Julie and Marlo, for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, everyone. Please take care of yourself and other. Good night from Orange County, California.
Good night from Santa Paula, California.
Good night from Nashville.
Listen to the stories and how they tell when they join and others doing so well, telling us what it's all about today and how they are loving that own passive way. On passive, here today on passive, there's no better way. Listen to the Julie and the Milo show, so then you can be the very first to know. On passive, it's a